Hello again. Well, we've gone into about WebDNA and we've gone into how to install the product. We should probably now get into
how to use the product.
Yeah, how we use the product. So let's look at some basic syntax and basic function of WebDNA here. Turn off this and we'll go into, let's visit the documentation, online docs, and just pull up a couple things from there. This at a glance link is a nice link to get a quick, thank you Patrick, get a nice quick glance at most of the contexts and commands. I should say briefly that WebDNA has some terminology for their tags, which are contexts and commands. A context is, for example, this hide-if context. It's a context is something that has an opening and a closing tag, whereas a command is more like this date tag, where it's a single tag that you would plop on the page and it would do its thing from there. So let's just grab this or copy this date tag. I'm going to open up BBEdit, which is my text editor of choice. You can use just about any text editor. I'll start a new HTML document here and call it test1. So as we discussed earlier, WebDNA can parse a template in various ways, and in our preferences we have it set so we're utilizing that has WebDNA tags string. And once this string is in a template at the top or bottom or wherever you want to put it in a template, WebDNA knows to parse this page. So let's paste that date tag in there. I'm going to save this page to our development machine. And let's go into documents. I'm just going to use this test1 directory here and save the file as an HTML file. We have it's, yeah?
You want to name it just test or test1?
Oh, we can name it test1.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So we have WebDNA set up so it can parse the HTML suffix. You can set WebDNA up to parse any suffix. And that's done in the WebDNA comp file. So save that. Then we can go to our browser. And find the directory that we used. I think it was test1, test1.html. Right. So the result of putting the date tag in there is that WebDNA basically spits out the date of whatever server that it's installed on. So 12/9/2008. Going back to the docs, let's look at a context. How about this hide-if context? I'm just going to scroll here slowly. Oops. So that we can see some of the conventions that the online docs use throughout all the tags and contexts and commands. This is a table. You'll see this a lot throughout the docs. It contains examples or parameters. It's kind of a quick reference to everything that can go into the particular context or command that you're looking at. So I'm just going to grab this string right here, hidef username equals sagehen, and then end hidef. Copy that. I'm going to go just dump that on the page here. So one thing I'll point out, this username command is a reserved variable name within WebDNA. There's quite a few of them. This is one of them. This username works with the DOM of your browser for I can't say that.
Authentication.
There we go. Yes, that one. So in this case, the example is saying if you're logged on with your browser as sagehen, it's going to hide this text. Well, so that we're not using the reserved variable name, I'm going to change this variable name to t_username. Then I'm going to explicitly set this variable up above it using the text context. There we go. So this text context is how you set variables, basically text variables. So on the left you have the variable name, which is going to be t_username. And on the right of the equals parameter, you're going to have the variable value, which we're going to set to sagehen. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this page, Command S, and go back to the browser and see what we get. You notice we're setting t_username to sagehen, and this text right here is supposed to hide if t_username equals sagehen. So go back, oops, we weren't using Safari, so let's quit out of that. And back to our development page here, I'm going to refresh. And notice the page doesn't change. Well, that means that WebDNA has done its job.
Or that something's broken.
So perhaps we can see this better if we take this text out and wrap it around the date and save it. So now we're hiding today's date, or the date variable, if t_username equals sagehen. So we'll go back to the test page, and it does what it's supposed to, hides the date text there. So let's go up here, and let's show you some other. We'll keep this t_username set.
What if you change the username to something else then? You're
Okay,
saying
right,
the date will display.
Right. Let's change it to
nobody.
Parker.
Yeah, good.
Or something. So we'll see what that does. Let's do a refresh, and it shows the date because it's not going to hide it if t_username is equal to sagehen, and that's a true statement. T_username is equal to Parker.
So now if we go back and look at that page in BBEdit, whatever I type between that hidef and the closing hidef tag will now display. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So we can say
you're not Mr. Sagehen.
Today's date is. And
what if you do like a bunch of carriage returns and stuff? That all goes through too if I did a bunch of BRs?
Well, it does, but since HTML, oh well, BRs, right. This is the HTML version of carriage returns.
And then do a little more text maybe just to make sure those BRs appear.
Okay. Some more text.
So all that stuff should now show up.
Right. So we'll refresh that page.
Awesome.
All right. So we can extend this same, using this same, create a rule here so we can separate it out a little bit. But using this same variable, we can also get into some of the other, the other one, the counterpart to hidef, of course, is showif. So we'll just do